by negative tendencies, material tendencies like anxiety, hatred, loneliness, transcendental pleasure, and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. When we go out on Sankirtan in Seattle every week, even when we ask some passerbys to chant this mantra one time, we see their face happy. Nobody chants the name with a frowny face. There is instant bliss on their face. So what are the benefits at a high level? So first of all is peace of mind, shanti. Even amidst difficulties, struggle for existence, mind remains calm. Just like lamp in cave, remain lit despite storm outside. Then second benefit is knowledge of the self. Then third is it brings real happiness, tasting the higher nectar. Fourth is liberation from karma. Fifth is freedom from reincarnation, no repeated birth and death. And sixth is the ultimate benefit. Mission of human life is accomplished because pure love of for Godhead is awakened in the heart. So, a nectar of devotion writes, at that time one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. The sun is far above the planetary systems and there is no possibility of its being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun from his heart, there is a diffusion of ecstatic love more glorious than the sunshine. And there are some corollary benefits as well, because chanting increases the concentration. It gives immunity, self-healing power, concentration and focus increases. It produces a vibration and sound which is felt through our vocal cords and sinus, and it gives us deep relaxation. It has cardiovascular benefits as well. It improves the voice by giving strength to the vocal cords, and we have better control over our emotions. It takes us to the spiritual journey to greater happiness and positivity. But the most important, and as I'm mentioning it last, it not only benefits the person who is chanting, but also to the people around them, because the vibration flows in all directions. Congregation chanting, when mantra is chanted in a group, the effects are amplified. It produces immense vibrations, and it clarifies and cleanses the heart of all the living entities and gives bliss to others, not only to the human species but also to all the species out of 8.4 million species, whatever we can encounter in our vicinity as we are chanting loudly.
Okay, thank you.
So I have few Shastric evidence, but that's from Chaitanya.
Okay, what is the Shastric evidence?
So, Prabhu, one is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the heart of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity is awakened.
Where is that from?
I didn't do a deep study, but it is from Chant and Be Happy book. It's mentioned.
Okay, whenever you quote Shastra, you have to give the place where it's found in the Shastra, otherwise we can't verify it.
Prabhu, I'll complete it.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so today we're going to continue understanding the Sikshastika. Siksha means instruction, teaching, and Astika means 8. So there's 8 fundamental teachings that Lord Chaitanya gave. He didn't write anything else, but the Sikshastika is considered by Gaudiya Vaishnavas to be even superior to the Srimad Bhagavatam. It contains everything the Bhagavatam has, plus more. Well, yesterday we discussed that it contains the goal of life and how to attain it, sadhya and sadhana. And the goal of life is to be able to continually taste the nectar of the holy name. And yesterday, Bhakti Churu Maharaj gave an explanation how chanting Hare Krishna is the highest yoga. The other yoga systems, controlling the breath, the sitting posture, and all those things, are to harness the mind so that it's focused always on Krishna. But you can do this without all the strenuous, let's say, gymnastics, breathing exercises, and so forth of those other systems. Actually, at one point you have to stop breathing. And he was explaining that yesterday.
In the evening class?
Yeah. Were you there? Oh, okay.
I thought it was just for this.
No, he gave a class. So anyway, very few people are able to do those things. But just by this chanting and dancing, and Prabhupada says the dancing and the chanting and the dancing is scientific. So you achieve the effect of the other yoga systems, whether it's the Sankhya Yoga, the Hatha Yoga, Astanga Yoga, Siddha Yoga. You attain the same result, but simply by chanting and dancing and taking prasadam. Therefore, we should see how Lord Chaitanya's special mercy is that he's made it very easy for us if we want this, if we want to attain transcendental life. So, therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 9th verse, Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 9th verse, Krishna says, Yajnartat karmano nyatra lokomam karma bandhanai tadartam karma konteya muktasanga samachara. He says, work should be done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Is it up there? No, is the screen down?
The sound's going.
No, is the screen down?
No, the screen's not down.
No. Okay, so he says, work done as a sacrifice for which Vishnu must be performed. Otherwise, work not meant to please Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the source of bondage, causes bondage in the material world. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, perform your prescribed duties for the satisfaction of the Lord, and in that way you'll always remain free from bondage.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, well, it's the 3rd chapter, 9th verse. And you're going to see it now in a second on the board, all right?
Let's go.
Okay, let me turn this on.
Yes, Prabhu, we are able to see. Work done as a sacrifice. You can speak to the mic.
Yeah. So this, and see what's interesting here is Krishna's speaking, and in terms of Lord Vishnu being the supreme God, and he's telling Arjuna, you have to perform your duties for his satisfaction, and his is capitalized, right? And in this way you always remain free from bondage. Well, that's a fact that Lord Vishnu is the beneficiary of all prescribed duties in the Varnasrama system. However, Lord Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. So when you perform karma yoga, where you're learning how to offer everything to Lord Vishnu, that is a step toward pure love of Krishna. Is it pure love itself? Not necessarily. yet, but it's bringing you closer. Because there are two psychological things that are happening. Number one, you accept there's someone greater than you. And number two, you accept that he is the actual proprietor, and you are not. So that defeats the false ego. The false ego is, it's explained in the 16th chapter, Ishwaroham aham bogi. In the, let's see, the 16th chapter, Ishwaroham aham bogi. And then it says, Siddhoham Balavam Sukhi. So this is 16th chapter, 14th verse. 16th chapter, 14th verse. So by learning to serve Lord Vishnu, who is the beneficiary of all sacrifices, you accept that the Lord is the supreme proprietor of everything. And he, in other words, he's the owner of everything, and all activities should be, the result of all activities should go to him.
Which verse?
16, 14. Chapter 16, verse 14. Okay, you won't see chapter 4, you'll see chapter 16, 13 to 15, so it's the middle verse. Okay. So what is the false ego? The false ego is that I am the owner and controller, and I am the enjoyer. So the two things you learn by performing karma yoga correctly under proper guidance is that Vishnu or Krishna is the owner and the enjoyer. And when you start acting with that consciousness by offering everything to the Lord and recognizing that he's the owner and controller, you purify the false ego. The false ego is what keeps us in the material world. And false ego has two components, or two parts. I am the owner, I am the enjoyer. And those two things become purified by engaging in karma yoga, correct karma yoga. There's false karma yoga and real karma yoga. The false karma yoga is what most Hindus perform today. That is, they come to God in order to support their ownership and their enjoyment. So can anyone give an example of that? Huh?
Mike.
Yeah. So there's real karma yoga and false karma yoga. Real karma yoga is recognizing that Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the proprietor of everything, the owner of everything, and the enjoyer, the ultimate enjoyer of everything. And false karma yoga is you come to Krishna to ask him for increasing your ownership and your sense gratification. So, do you have any examples of that?
False karma yoga?
Yeah.
What's that?
False karma yoga. Okay.
So, like, people perform various pujas
Yes.
for Satyanarayana puja or other pujas. They're
Is-
asking something from Lord Vishnu.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially the Satyanarayana puja. One time Prabhupada said, why are they saying Satyanarayana puja? Narayana never tells a lie. Right? Satya means the truth, right? So you don't have to use that adjective, Satya Narayana, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He never engages in any falsity. Anyway, the false karma yoga is asking God for material benefits so that you can enjoy them and own them. And real karma yoga is you offer everything to the Lord, recognizing that He's the enjoyer and He's the owner or proprietor. Therefore, also, the false ego is explained in the 16th chapter, 14th verse, where it says, Ishwaroham hambogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. Balavan sukhi. And that says, Ishwaroham aham bogi. I am the Lord of everything. Ishwaroham. Ishwara aham. And aham bogi. And I am the enjoyer of everything. That is exactly the false ego. So let's repeat that. Ishwaroham. Aham bogi.
Aham bhogi.
That is called the false ego. If anyone ever asks you a question, what is the false ego? What do you say? Ishwaroham aham bogi. You see it right there. Ishwaroham aham bogi. And that means that aham means I am. So there's two I ams in that verse, right? Ishwaro aham, and then aham bogis. So that means I am Ishwara. What does Ishwara mean?
God.
Owner and controller. And aham and bogi means, it had the same word in Hindi. What does it mean?
Bhogi means what? I consume it. I'm the one who will consume it.
Yeah, but
I mean, in a way, you said enjoyer.
enjoyer, yeah. Yeah, boga is food, right? And bogi is, I guess, the consumer of the food, but it has an extended meaning of I am the enjoyer. Right? In Sanskrit, they say boga tyaga. Boga tyaga is an oxymoron. You know what an oxymoron is?
Happily married.
Yeah, like happily married. But what is it? What is it? Can you define an oxymoron?
It's like a word that, it's like something that contradicts itself, ironically. Right?
It's two opposite words.
Yeah.
So boga tyaga is an oxymoron, Sanskrit oxymoron. It means, boga means enjoy, enjoyer, and tyaga means a renouncer, right? So the false ego insists that Ishwaro aham, I am the owner, aham bogi, and I am the enjoyer. Those are the two components of the false ego, owner and enjoyer. Now, even a 1-year-old child has a false ego. You have any examples of that? Any examples? Arush, do you have any example of a 1-year-old child or a 2-year-old child having a false ego? No? You never, I mean, okay. Let's say, well, Anvita and Advaita are brother and sister. Have you ever seen any false ego amongst yourselves? Yes.
I think, like, I'm not sure if it's true, but, like, when you're a baby, like, when my brother was a baby, and so when I was, like, doing something, and then my mom was, like, helping me, and then he started crying because he wanted
Attention?
he wanted attention, and so then my mom had to go and carry him.
All right. But let's say when Advait got a little older, did you ever get in a fight over something?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the false ego, because each of you wants the same thing for your own pleasure. So there you have the two components. I am the owner, I am the enjoyer. You see? You understand, Arush? I am the owner, I am the enjoyer. You ever get in an argument with something over a toy or something like that? Yeah, so that's because that's the false ego. Even as a child, as 1 year old or 2 years old, the false ego is manifested in I am the owner, I am the enjoyer.
So they will not get pacified unless the mother comes?
Well, no. The child will cry, not because... This is different than wanting the mother to come and pacify them. The child is crying because the mother said, you can't do this, or you can't have this right now. So the child starts to cry because he wants to be the owner and the enjoyer. See? Okay. Or avoid crying because his mom was showing a little too much attention to his sister. And because he wanted attention. He wanted to be the owner of the mother's attention and the enjoyer of the mother's attention. See? But don't feel as if this is like you're evil or anything. Everybody is like that. Everybody is like that because it's coming from the previous life. I was like that also, you know. And actually, very few people in this world are able to overcome that. Very few people. Right? And then, Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi. Siddhoham is more false ego. It's inflated false ego, where it says Siddhoham. So aham means I. And siddha, siddho or siddha means?
Powerful.
It means perfect.
Perfect, okay.
So now, this is further false ego. I am perfect, and Balavan Sukhi. So now you have two more things. Balavan means I am powerful, and Sukhi, I am happy because I'm controlling and I'm enjoying. This is the false ego in depth. Not only I am the owner, I'm the enjoyer, but I'm perfect. I never make any mistakes. I'm always right. Everybody else is wrong. And I'm powerful. No one can overcome me. And I'm happy because I have more power and material possessions and money and fame and all these things. This is the false ego. In other words, people are trying to imitate Krishna. Can you imitate Krishna? You can try, but you'll never even get close. But because of the false ego, people become so blinded, they think they're almost equal or better than Krishna. Okay, so if anyone ever asks you, what is the false ego? What do you say? Arush?
You, 16 seconds.
Go ahead. What do you say, Arush? What are the two main things of the false ego?
I am the owner, I am the enjoyer.
Very good. Very good. Anything else that you have any other thing you could say? Advait?
I am the proprietor.
Well, that means I am the owner. Is there anything else you can say?
I am perfect.
Yes.
I am happy.
I'm happy, yes.
I'm strong.
And I'm powerful.
I'm richest.
Well, it didn't mention richest, but that's understood. But I am powerful. No one's as strong as me. No one's as happy as me. No one is as perfect as me, and because I am the owner and the controller. Okay? That's a false ego.
Prabhuji, basically all the 6 opulence which Krishna has. all the 6 opulence which Krishna has.
Well, yeah, a person will try and imitate, but we'll just stick to this text.
In the 15th verse it is saying, I am powerful, perfect, powerful and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is
That's
none.
the 14th verse.
That's the 15th verse. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. So that means they are imitating even the renunciate power of Krishna.
Okay. Adya means wealth. Adyo, and then Bijanavan Asmi. Okay, yeah, there's more ramifications of, you're correct, there's more ramifications of the false ego. Okay, so what happens when you follow the real karma yoga? What happens when you follow real karma yoga? Yes?
You're sacrificing all those things?
Yeah, you recognize 2 things. Krishna is the ultimate owner and controller, and Krishna is the real enjoyer. So you recognize that there's someone greater than you, that you can never be equal to, and you recognize that he owns everything, so that means he owns your senses also and your body. So therefore you should learn how to use the senses and the body to please Krishna. So in order to be a materialist, you have to reject all this knowledge of Krishna and portray yourself as Krishna. You see? That's why it's called a false ego. You have to pretend that I'm the enjoyer, I'm the owner, I'm perfect, I am the richest, I am this, I am that. So by engaging in karma yoga, you purify that false ego by learning to offer everything to Krishna and learning that he's the real enjoyer. If anything, we are a secondary enjoyer. That means after Krishna has been offered, he's so kind he offers back prasadam. So when we take prasadam, we have to take prasadam according to rules and regulations. If we don't follow the rules and regulations for taking prasadam, then we're trying to be an enjoyer again, even though we're eating prasadam. So there are rules and regulations for prasadam also. That is, we should, I remember when Prabhupada would take prasadam, he would not talk. He would just meditate on eating the prasadam, meditating this is Krishna's mercy. He would not carry on a conversation while eating, because it was an act of devotion, accepting prasadam. If anything, in the followers, the personal associates of Lord Chaitanya, they wouldn't talk, but they would be chanting. Like every time they would eat something, they'd say, Hare Krishna. And before they would take again, they would say, Hare Krishna. So, if you were sitting in the prasadam hall where the devotees of Lord Chaitanya were taking prasadam, it would be like a loud kirtan going on. Everybody would be saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare. So but Prabhupada would mostly, I wasn't with him all the time when many times when he was taking prasadam. The few times I was, he was quiet and he was meditating on taking prasadam. Right? Because prasadam is the mercy of Krishna, so it's a very serious, holy thing to accept prasadam. Okay, so now This is so. In the 3rd chapter, 9th verse, it says, "Yajnartat karma no nyatra lokamam karma bandhanai tadaratam karma konteya mukta sangha samachara." So one must perform work as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Otherwise, if you work without this mentality of sacrificing for Vishnu, work becomes a cause of bondage to the material world. You become a prisoner of the work. Do you know anyone that's a prisoner of their work? Huh? Yes?
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a prisoner of your work?
No time for anything else but work.
Exactly right. No time for anything else. You're just thinking about your work day and night. And now, does anyone work like that for no money?
Devotees.
Huh?
Devotees.
No. The devotees are not prisoners of their work. They're liberated by their work. Yeah. Yes?
Prabhu, working for the service of Krishna, then
That's what?
working for the service of Krishna.
Is what?
And I think whatever we earn, we give them forever. We are giving.
No, I said, do you know anyone who's a prisoner of their work? He explained what prisoner of work is, right? You have no time for anything else.
That same material things what we are trying to
That means no time for spiritual life.
spiritual life. But the same work we are trying to earn money for the service of Krishna, then that should be not be a cause of bondage.
Well, you would not be a prisoner of the work if you're working to earn the money to offer to Krishna, because what you're thinking about all day long is doing good work so that you get the money to offer to the Lord, right? So your real goal is not the money, it's offering to the Lord. Yeah.
So, Prabhu, your question that prisoners of workers who work day and night for
Prisoner of work.
prisoners of work who work day and night for their work, so can they work for free? The answer should be no. They will not.
No, they will not work for free. That's the difference, you see. The devotee will work for free. He's just satisfied with a little bit of prasadam. But the person who's a prisoner of work is working for money. Now the example is the donkey. In India you see the donkeys, right? What's the name of donkey now? Kara?
Gada.
Kada, yeah. Kada. The kada is working all day. And what does the kada get?
Grass.
A little bit of grass. And in India it's very clever what they did. They put a rope around its head and it's tied to like a leather bag or something, right? And they stuff a little grass in that, and then he sticks his head in there and he eats it, right? Now there's grass everywhere though, right? There's grass there, on both sides of the road there's grass all over the place, right? But he thinks, oh, you know, my master is so kind, he gave me some grass. And on the other hand, if you see the dhobi, the washermen, the way they work the donkeys are very weak. They're thin. They're not like American donkeys. They're really strong. You know, they're weak, and then they load their back with a huge amount of cloth. Have you ever seen that in the villages? Have you seen that? Yeah. You know, donkeys. These are weak donkeys. They have to carry all that cloth for hours, and the reward is a little bit of grass. See? So that's the real prisoner. And then you'll see people, they'll work maybe 14, 15, maybe 16 hours a day. They don't even eat properly, and they just eat, you know, haphazardly, and they sleep a little bit, and then they get up and work again. See?
They sleep in the office.
They sleep under the computer in the office. You know, they don't even go home. Right? So this is being a prisoner of work. But when you offer, the goal is offering to Lord Vishnu, then there's no bondage. One becomes liberated from being a prisoner of work. So here Prabhupada says, the whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach this goal. The real goal of self-interest. The real goal of self-interest is to receive Krishna's mercy. That's the real goal of self-interest. Most people think the real goal of self-interest is to make a lot of money and then buy things with it and increase all the things we have. But the real goal of self-interest is to receive the mercy of Guru and Krishna. In other words, the whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than a false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. So this is maybe a little difficult to understand, but it's a very profound statement. So, Chetu Darpana Marjanam, it means you purify this false ego. Now, either by offering everything to Krishna, but to develop the desire to do that, this chanting is there, because the chanting is extremely purifying. So it will very quickly purify the false ego. And then the proof is that everything you do it as an offering to Krishna. And you do it according to the instructions of our acharyas or gurus. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya, he brought the Sankirtan Yajna. And Prabhupada says the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of Hare Krishna in public and in a group, congregational chanting, goes very well with Krishna consciousness. What does that mean? Krishna consciousness means learning to offer everything to Krishna. Right? So why does Prabhupada say that the Sankirtan Yajna, or Sankirtan, performance of Sankirtan, goes very well with Krishna consciousness? Anybody? Agastya, you have any idea? Why does Prabhupada say that Sankirtan goes very well with Krishna consciousness?
You said you chant Hare Krishna.
Go ahead. What did you say? Microphone. Why does it say that this chanting Hare Krishna, especially in a group, goes very well with Krishna consciousness? First of all, what is Krishna consciousness?
Krishna consciousness is being connected with Krishna.
Yes. So then why would Prabhupada say that chanting Hare Krishna goes very well with being Krishna conscious? Let Agastya try.
Because you're saying the names of Krishna.
Yeah, so is the name of Krishna Krishna himself? Or is it different? Just like, huh?
It is Krishna?
Yes. Now, is the name Coca-Cola Coca-Cola?
No.
No, if you say the name Coca-Cola, do you taste Coca-Cola?
No.
No. If you say the name of Krishna, Is it Krishna himself?
Yes.
Okay. Do you taste it? Do you feel the presence of Krishna when you chant Hare Krishna?
Yes.
You do?
No.
Yeah. But even though you don't right now, you will if you purify the false ego. And the way to purify the false ego is chanting, dancing, taking prasadam, and learning to offer everything to Krishna according to the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. Right. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where it says, in this age of Kali, people who have very good intelligence will worship Lord Chaitanya, who's accompanied by his associates, meaning his devotees, by performance of Sankirtan Yajna, by chanting in public the holy names. Okay. And it says, the Sankirtan Yajna, the sacrifice of chanting Hare Krishna, is easy and sublime for all purposes. What does easy and sublime mean? Anybody? What does easy mean?
Very simple.
Yes. And sublime. Huh? No, sublime means, no, it doesn't mean blissful. To a certain extent, yeah.
Ecstatic.
That would be a result of its sublimity. Yeah. Sublime means that it is so simple and effective that you can't even put your finger on it. You know, I mean, it's so simple and so effective, right? That it's sublime. It does it in some seamless, imperceptible way.
In a sense, bewildering.
No, sublime, no, because you see the result. You see the result. You don't get bewildered. Yes? Okay, look up the word sublime.
I want to give an example.
Yes, go ahead.
The drop of the devotees.
Microphone. Right here, next to Augustine. Yeah.
I want to give an example, like a drop of devotee's mercy can be so effective on a person who's very fallen and or
Yes.
when
Yeah, exactly.
can change his life. Also.
Yes, exactly. Just a moment's association with a pure devotee can be life-changing. So, I mean, you see the results. Not that you get bewildered. You actually see the result and you understand something wonderful has happened. And it happened in an almost imperceptible way. Okay, what does it say for sublime? S-U-B-L-I-M-E. S-U-B-L-I-M-E.
As an adjective, it means
What?
as an adjective, it means elevated or lofty in thought, language, etc., impressing the mind with a sense of grandeur or power. As a noun, it means the quality of being sublime, the greatest or supreme degree.
What? Say that again. As a noun?
As a noun,
Yeah.
the greatest or supreme degree, the quality of being sublime. As a verb, it means to make higher, nobler, or purer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you actually feel it. And it happened in a let's say in a seamless way. Seamless means it's not like it's not mechanical. It was not a mechanical. Like you come, you see everyone chanting, dancing, you join the chanting and dancing, chanting Hare Krishna, and you feel happy, right? So that's a sublime experience.
Supreme or outstanding.
Yes. Okay. So, therefore, Prabhupada says that the Sankirtan movement is easy and sublime. Easy and sublime. So yesterday when Maharaj was explaining all the steps in mystic yoga, right, it was not easy. And it was definitely not sublime. I mean, how would you feel if you stopped breathing? Would it feel easy and sublime? And you have to do it voluntarily. The way you do it is you swallow your tongue. Don't ever do that, because you'll die. But the yogis learn to do it without dying. And you have to basically plug up all the holes of the body. There's 9 holes of the body. So one of them is the mouth and the esophagus. So when you swallow your tongue, you can't breathe anymore. You swallow your tongue, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, don't ever try and do it. And then you stop the outgoing air and the ingoing air. And when you stop breathing, then you extend your lifespan almost indefinitely, as long as you're able to not breathe. Well, no, what they're trying to do is take the mind away from any external attraction. But they do this severe type of yoga to do it. But if you feel the ecstasy of chanting and dancing and taking prasadam, you take the mind away from material attachment also, but in a very pleasant way, easy and sublime way. You see, that's what's being said here. So therefore it says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Sherak Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam, Vidyavadahu Jivanam. So now we're going to go into the rest of the first mantra of the Shiksastakam. So the first benefit of chanting Hare Krishna is Cheto Darpana Marjanam, which means by chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, one cleanses the heart of all material contamination. It's just like, let's say you have a rusty pair of scissors, right, that you found in your garden. You forgot it like a year ago, and then all winter long it rained, in Seattle. And in the springtime, when you're cutting the grass, you find the scissors that you lost a year ago, but they're all rusty. And you try and open and close them, and it doesn't open or close. It's stuck. Why is it stuck? Because of the rust. So what do you do? Yes? Huh? Yeah, you go to Home Depot, you buy some WT-40. It's a special spray. You spray it on it, and let it sit a little bit, and then it starts to work again, because it sort of melts away the rust. Right. Now, we have rust in our heart. And the heart and the mind are connected. Sometimes they use them interchangeably. But it says the mirror of the mind, right? The dust on the mirror of the mind, or the dust in the heart. So the mind and the heart are connected. So basically, when you have too much dirt on a mirror, can you see yourself in the mirror? Very difficult. You see something, but it's not clear, right? But if you clean the mirror, can you see yourself? Yes. So, by living in the material world, we accumulate a lot of dust on the mirror of our mind. So, we begin to develop this false ego. We don't see who we really are. So, the first benefit is by chanting Hare Krishna, you clean away that dust. Okay? So when the heart and the mind are cleansed, then a person becomes eligible to be free of Maya. So people who don't bathe don't eat clean things, okay, Agastya and wait, who don't bathe, who don't eat clean things, who don't sleep in a clean place, who have bad and unclean habits, they are in Maya. Do you know anybody that doesn't brush their teeth, doesn't cut their fingernails, doesn't smell good, eats unclean things, their clothes smell? You know anyone like that? Anybody? Anybody in school like that? How about work? You know anybody in work?
No, not at the work, Prabhuji, but when we go out on streets, we find such people.
You find a lot of people.
A lot of people like on the streets.
Yeah. They're not clean.
At work, they don't tolerate if somebody has
They're
smoker
smoking.
also.
And what?
If at work somebody has done the smoking, then people will freak out. Can you go and gargle? So they don't tolerate.
That happens, huh?
Yeah, they don't tolerate even that at work.
Yeah, but sometimes people come in, their clothes smell, or their breath smells bad, right?
It happens in the temple also. If they are eating garlic and onion and they come, their jackets, the pullovers, they smell too.
They smell, yeah. So those are people who are in Maya. They're in Maya. So by chanting Hare Krishna, one becomes cleansed, purified, and clean. And the proof that one is cleansed is to begin to understand, I'm not this body. I'm the soul that's present in the body. This is a result of chanting Hare Krishna. You begin to realize, I'm not this body. And you stop, you're listening to nonsense, and you want to come to classes and learn more about how I'm not this body, that I'm a pure spirit soul, eternally related to Krishna. So that that's the shift from material life to spiritual life, from Maya to Krishna consciousness. And it all begins by chanting and associating with devotees. Then one realizes, I don't have to be always worried about getting material things. What I really need is a bead bag with beads in it, not with marbles in it or candy in it, but with beads in it, and chanting on those beads, because that is really helping me to understand better who I am and what the goal of life is. So then you begin to realize, I don't need all these little gadgets, right? And then one begins to think about who they are. Wait, come on, stop diverting your attention to Maya. Agastya has become your Maya. And Advaita has become your Maya. So turn away from, okay. So at a certain point one realizes the real goal of my life is to purify my consciousness and direct it completely to Krishna. So then one begins to chant more, and the more they chant, the more they become purified. And then the more they become purified, the less they're interested in doing nonsense and materialistic activities. The person realizes, this is just a waste of time. I should use every minute in Krishna's service. And this is the knowledge that comes from cleansing the heart. These are the realizations that come from cleansing the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjana. It's cleansing. So one no longer works with the understanding Ishwaroham Ahambogi. I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. And one begins to think Krishna is the supreme controller, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and the goal of my life is to please Krishna and use everything Krishna has given me in his service, including my body, my mind, my intelligence. So that at that point they become free of the bodily concept of life. And this is simply by chanting, taking prasadam and dancing and associating with devotees. Simply by that. You don't have to be a big scholar. You don't have to read many, many books. You don't have to pass SAT test. You simply have to chant, dance, and take prasadam and associate favorably with devotees and chant, and then also hear regularly classes. Yeah.
I actually have practical experience of this within the past couple of weeks in school. So I'll give you like a
Microphone. Where's the other microphone? Oh, the other microphone is right under your foot.
I have practical experience of this in the past couple of weeks in school. I'll be sitting in class and, we'll be talking about whatever subject, whether it's like an English class and we're talking about poetry, or whether it's a religion class and we're talking about just the history of a religion, Islam or Buddhism. And I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, like, this is not really worth my time. Like, although like I'm supposed to be getting something that's supposed to be beneficial for the material world, I don't actually feel like I'm gaining anything out of it, and I'm actually bored here. I could be utilizing this time and distributing books or doing something else that's favorable to Krishna rather than just...
Yeah. And what they're trying to teach you in the class is mostly wrong anyway.
Exactly. And you see that when you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
It's a false representation of those religions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And you begin to feel, I'm just simply wasting my time doing this.
Yeah.
I can use my time much better.
I've been having that a lot this past quarter. I mean, this is my last quarter of school, but I'm just like, I've been noticing that more and more. Like,
that happened to me in college too. I realized I was just wasting my time. They were not really educating me, although it looked like I was getting educated. But I realized that what they were telling me, what I was learning, it didn't really help me become a better person, nor did it help me understand what the purpose of life is. Okay, so then second, Chaita Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The second thing is, there's Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, there's Agni in this part, right? What does Agni mean?
Fire.
Yes, it's fire, right? So the next thing is that one extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. What does that mean? The blazing fire of material existence. One puts it out. What is the blazing fire? First thing is Chaita Darpana Marjana, purification of the consciousness, of the heart. Purification of desires and so on. Now the next thing is putting out the blazing fire of material existence. What is this blazing fire? When Advait gets angry as his sister, do you feel any blazing fire, Advait? Huh?
Yeah, really.
Yes. So what is that blazing fire? Yes, Arush. Yes, but why does a person get angry? Yes. Yeah, well, what is the false ego? Two things, two main things.
I am the controller and I'm the enjoyer.
Yes. So when something challenges your control and your enjoyment, the blazing fire comes up. What is that blazing fire? Anger, right? Someone is challenging my ownership, my control. Someone is challenging my enjoyment. Yeah.
Reminds me of the verse Bhagavad Gita 262 or 263 and 64? Or
62 and 63.
Yeah.
Yes. Huh?
What do you say?
It reminds
Meditating on the objects of the senses develops attachment, and from attachment, lust develops, and from lust comes anger.
Yeah, when lust is frustrated, there's anger. That's the blazing fire. Now, the blazing fire is lust also. What does lust mean? These things are like fire. But once Buddha made a very good statement. He said, in the material world, everything is on fire. My mind is on fire, my tongue is on fire, my eyes are on fire, my ears are on fire, my hands are on fire, my legs are on fire. He said, everything is on fire. What was he meaning by saying that?
Uncontrolled?
Yeah. Completely out of control. Do you know anyone that's out of control? Huh? How do you describe a person who's out of control?
Crazy.
Well, yeah, but no. This is that they got so out of control they got exhausted, right? But no, what does it mean that they're really out of control? Yes.
So uncontrolled means basically they are not able to control the urge, what they are speaking. They are not able to.
Yeah, they can't control
the
the tongue. They can't control the anger. They can't control the mind. They can't control the stomach. They can't control the genitals. They can't control the talk. They're just out of control. They're talking all kinds of rubbish things, doing all kinds of rubbish things. They can't control their desires. They have some sense gratification and immediately they want more. It's not enough. They're out of control. And therefore, they're so out of control, they're on fire all the time. And people like that get angry very quickly. Angry very quickly for nothing at all. Right? Omar, stand up. Jump up and down 5 times. Go ahead. Jump up and down 5 times. No. Take your hands out of your pocket. Put them up like this. Okay, jump up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Don't sit down. Stand up. Yeah. Take your hands out of your pocket. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Does blazing also means like which is?
You got so tired being out of control.
Yeah. Blazing means like it's.
Oh, blazing. Yeah. Okay. Blazing means it's the fire is so hot and the flames are so high that you have to step back from it.
It's like wildfire, like you cannot control it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, so Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam.
Prabhu, one more I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Blazing fire is also like when the senses are not being satisfied or
Yes.
just uncontrolled.
Yes. Senses are not being satisfied, they're out of control.
It's the same.
You know, and the sixth sense is the mind, right? So mind goes out of control. You can't control it. You have feelings of hatred, jealousy, anger. It's just out of control. So, Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam means that you stop this blazing fire. You're the fireman, right? You stop the blazing fire. So this is the second major thing that happens when you engage in Sankirtan of Lord Chaitanya. This blazing fire starts to go out. First is your heart becomes purified of all these unclean desires. And secondly, the blazing fire of material existence begins to be extinguished. And then, Sherak Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam, all of a sudden, good things start happening in your life. Good things start happening. You start meeting really good people, beneficial people that inspire you for self-realization, developing love of Krishna. Yeah.
What is the definition of benediction?
Okay, well, it's a Latin word, benedict. It's like, it means a benediction is a blessing from God. Okay? Look up the word benediction. It's a Latin word. Bene in Latin means good. Diction means a word. So it's a blessing.
Benediction means the utterance or bestowing of a blessing, especially at the end of a religious service.
Right.
Devout or formal invocation of blessedness.
So in a Catholic
It's a Latin
church,
word.
In the class, yeah, it's a Latin word.
Latin word means bene.
Means good.
Bene and well plus decree to speak.
Yes. So
It's a short invocation for divine help, blessings, and guidance.
so you'll see the priest in the Catholic Church at the end of the liturgy who raise his hand and hold it in a certain way, and he says, he gives a benediction, you know.
It's called Ashirvad.
Yeah, in Hindi it's called Ashirvad. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. So, but it's something, it's a spoken word. It's a spoken word of blessing. And the ultimate blessing, you know, is Krishna Astu Matir. May you always remember Krishna. That means you'll go back to God. But, you know, in South India and in North India, they say, Ayur Arogya Aishwarya, right? You have long life, good health, and a lot of money. But that's not a blessing, that's a curse. You know, that's actually a curse because it means you're going to take birth again in the material world. But Krishna Astu Matir means that, you know, may you always remember Krishna. If you do, then you go back to Godhead. So, all right. Okay, so Sherak Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam means you feel blessed. You feel that all good things are starting to happen again. Like I remember one time someone came and they said, "Oh, Prabhu, I have a big problem." I said, "What's your problem?" And the person said, "Oh, you know, I have a house in Florida, and I have these tenants, and they're destroying the house. I can't get them out of the house, and now the value of the house..." Huh? The person said, "I have a house." He was living here, but he had a house in Florida. He said, and he rented it out to some tenants, and the tenants were destroying the house, and he was trying to get them out, and he can't get them out. And on top of that, the real estate market crashed, and the house that he bought for, let's say he bought the house for $600,000. Now it was only worth $350,000. And his mortgage was more than what the house was worth now. So it means that he was bankrupt. So the bank said, "You have to pay up your whole mortgage, otherwise we seize the house." So he's got the problem with the tenants that are ruining the house, you know, breaking things and damaging the house. And they refuse to leave. And he has the bank saying, because the house is worth less than the mortgage you have to pay up the whole mortgage. Otherwise, we're going to take the house. What?
They do that?
Yeah. That's why many people became homeless. After 2008, when there was the market crash, many people lost their houses. Yeah, many people.
If they continue paying the mortgage, why would they ask them to pay the whole mortgage again?
Because the value of the house is when the person bought the house, it was valued at more than the mortgage. The mortgage, you know, they put some money down, and so the mortgage was like, let's say, $250,000, right? Or $300,000, and the house was worth $500,000. But because the real estate market crashed, the value went down to $250,000, less than the mortgage. So the bank said, you have to pay up the whole mortgage, otherwise we're going to take the house away from you and sell it to get our money back. You see? So many people in the United States lost their homes. Many, many people. So he's saying, what am I going to do? He said, I can't even chant. I said, well, that's probably why it's happening. He said, what do you mean? I said, because you probably weren't chanting that well anyway. I said, the only way you're going to get out of this if you begin to chant seriously and come listen to the class, and then I'll tell you what to do. So they started coming. Because, the problem is complicated because he has tenants. By the way, they were not paying the rent anymore also, and they were ruining the house. They were damaging the house on purpose. So he's got to get them out, but he can't get them out easily unless he goes to court. If he goes to court, he has to spend money. You see? So it was a hopeless situation. So the only thing he could do was give it back to the bank and take a complete loss and owe them money. And that would put him, it would probably have put him in bankruptcy. He would have to declare bankruptcy. So he didn't have to pay the money at one time. And then, because the tenants were ruining the house, the bank would not be able to get much money for the house. Then it means he owes them more money than the mortgage. You see? So, I won't tell the whole story, but he listened to me, and he got out of it without losing a penny. But it took 8 months. And during the 8 months, I said, well, what do I do next? What do I do? Did
he go to court?
No, didn't have to go to court. And I explained, it was a good plan. He got out of it, and I saved his life, basically.